screen or head back to the dungeon. All right. Yeah.
It felt
I think
also
what made
slow.
The first season, so the story of Nocturne is so much more different from the original one, because we don't have a main character who's like an adult. We have a main character who's kind of a teen, and that's trying to sell us on, I think, a multitude of things, and I don't know if they totally sold us on the multitude of things within the time allotted.
Mm-hmm.
Because like a lot of things are multifaceted. Because on the one hand, you know, you have to see, okay, Juiced is an old guy who's a hermit, who's like the sort of jerk with a heart of gold trope.
I love him. He's my little goblin.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it myself.
I love him.
But it's crazy.
Well,
oh wait, so the drunk is on your party auto come the best. Yes. Yes, do that.
What I would have liked, like, it was fast, but it was also so slow in terms of character development. They gave 3 characters character development, and none of it was Richter. None of it went to Richter at all. Like, I'm totally fine with, okay, we saw Trevor as an adult in his 20s to 30s. Because I don't remember how old he is when we first meet him. And so I was like, okay, so if we're getting a younger character who is, like, 18, 19, okay, he's gonna be brash, he's gonna be reckless, you know, he's gonna be a bit more rebellious in that aspect. And he didn't have a personality. Like, the one thing that was his personality is that his mom was killed by a vampire, and that he lost his magic powers. And I'm like, you're not selling me on Richter. You're not, because he's supposed to be youthful, and I'm not being on him as a character. I mean, and you know, and it's fine, whatever. I like Juste because they gave him more character. They gave him like more character development in 2 episodes than they gave like most of the characters, and I actually felt for him. Like, he introduced his story. He talked about things. Like, I could actually see he was hurt by the fact that his daughter didn't think highly of him. Like, he was hurt that his daughter was incredibly mean and, like, dismissive of, like, what he went through. And so I was like, oh, wow, that fucking sucks. And then Richter tells me his mom's killed and his magic thing. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, but... oh, okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. Alright, anyways. You know, like, I was like, this is not conducive whatsoever, in terms of a character arc. And then, and I'm gonna be honest,
I think they almost kind of knew that the season was moving a little fast, because it seemed like they were a little self-aware about it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I remember, like, when Olrox gives him the book, he's all like, just take the fucking book.
Yeah,
like, we have to move this along.
Yeah, he's like, please take the book.
And then, like, when, the fact that, like, Jacques and that other guy end up getting turned into night creatures early on, I'm like, that was definitely like, oh, we really don't feel for these guys because we haven't had enough time with them, so are they really going to kill them off right on the spot?
Yeah.
But they don't. They have them be these night creatures that actually have a bit of a will, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So they knew that they kind of turned them into night creatures a little too soon.
Yeah, I felt like with the night creatures, it was a lot more interesting, because, you know, you watch 4 seasons of Castlevania, and you're like, oh, they're just mindless hordes. And so this season this sequel definitely shows the fact that they can remember. Like, they can know who they are. They're just, like, at the will of their creator. A lot of them don't. And that's why they are so mindless when we first meet them. And so it was interesting to see that actually there was a difference. I'm going to be honest, the minute I heard Alucard was going to be in this show, I just stopped caring about most characters, because I was just like, oh, Alucard's coming. That's fine. Just wait for him. He'll be okay. And I feel like if your season is so bad that, like, you are hoping Alucard saves it, you need to look at your season.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see the first Belmont, actually. I think that's Simon. I think that's his name. And because it goes Simon.
It's so weird, man, because Castlevania is such an old game, and it goes back to like arcade-style games pretty much. But it's like Ghosts and Goblins in retro days. But like it has this story, it can really work.
You can be very anthological about it. So I'm hoping that with this they do Simon, the very first Belmont, and then allude to Trevor, because obviously we've seen Trevor's story, so we don't need to like rehash that. And then go from Trevor to, I believe the next one is Juste, because I would have loved to see him in his prime. You know, like, he's an amazing character now, but, like, I'm sure he was absolutely a force to be reckoned with. Like, because he did say he was very much like, vampires were scared of him. And I'm like, I would have loved to seen that, because to me it would have added to, like, oh, here's the legendary Juste Belmont. Like, this guy, like, we know this guy. This guy is fucking, he's out there. And, you know, it would be, I think, a little bit more, I don't know. I feel
it's so goofy to me that Simon Belmont looks like a barbarian warrior, and dude straight up was only born in 1669.
He's got a lot. He's got a lot going for him. I don't know about him. I'm gonna be honest.
Video game Trevor Belmont has an eye patch. That's interesting.
We're such simps.
I'm just looking at the Google images of this right now.
We're such.
Jeez, what can you say about One Piece? The One Piece Netflix live action adaptation. You seem to really enjoy it.
I did. Well, because I decided we should watch One Piece. Because I sat there and was like, everyone's talking about it. Everyone's really enjoying it. And so I sat there and was like, let's watch it. Let's see. And it was not bad. For someone who did not, and I'm saying this, I didn't watch it growing up. That's not something I watched, to be honest. And that's fine. So I came into it completely at I completely sat there and came at it from like this new perspective and this new kind of deal. And I think what's interesting is that it was not bad for what I knew of One Piece. I thought it was well paced. I very much like what they did with character introductions, especially with the pirates. I liked that effect of showing their wanted poster and them slashing it. You know? Like, I thought that was a cool little, like, effect. Because I was like, oh, wow, okay, we're seeing it. My favorite character is actually, I have a couple. So I love, I think his name is Dracul Mihawk. I think that's how you say his first name.
Mihawk.
I know
Is it the dude who fought with Zoro?
Yes, that's the guy who had the Christian cross. I loved him. Okay. He was so funny. He's what I imagine live action Alucard could be. Cause he's just like he's so funny and he's so unserious at the same time. He's like, I could kill you guys in my sleep. Like, you know, like when he fights Zoro, he pulls out the little tiny sword that's in a necklace. Like, he's like, I don't need to hit you with the big sword. I have this. Will do just fine. And it's like, that's all I needed as his introduction. Like, I didn't need a huge backstory. I would love to see one. I would actually love to see the Seven Warlords story. Like, I don't think you should be on this crew if you're gonna be like this. Like, I understand trust.
See, I always took it as like there's some growing pains. We're not a realist.
Well, I mean, true.
Pains because of growing pains, all kind of meet each other in like a serendipitous way.
I mean, I don't mind it, but she very much was just like, I feel like they did it too much. I feel like they leaned.
Also, the actor for Sanji reminds me so much of Freddie Prinze Jr. And I look him up. He's Taz Skylar, and he is like, yo. I'm like, yo, okay.
I knew he looked like a colonizer.
Oh my god.
What do you mean, oh my god?
You look weirdly a lot like Freddie Prinze Jr. Like, he looks like he could play, you know, Freddy in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, he probably
He's got
could.
the Freddy and Scooby-Doo look.
I thought it was so... I mean, I don't know if this is just One Piece, but I thought it was so funny that, like, they're like, there's a cooking pirate captain. I'm like, what's next? Arts and crafts? Here's the clay captain. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Jeff Ward is an American actor best known for Deke Shaw in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and now Buggy the Clown in One Piece. Interesting.
Yeah, that's why I kept telling you. I'm like, look, it's the guy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's so crazy.
I think Jamie Lee Curtis...
Jacob Gibson.
Who is that?
Jacob Gibson. Jamaican American, best known for playing Usopp in Netflix. This is his debut then, because he doesn't have anything else right now.
Also, he did very well. I loved Usopp. Usopp to me,
you know, it's so funny seeing these characters come to life because it almost seems like it is kind of sort of perfect casting, and I'm sure there's someone who thinks that it's like awful casting for some of the characters, but like a lot of it does make me realize that maybe a lot of the characters were like actually that like ethnicity or whatever like coded.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, maybe I'm just being retroactive, but like I don't know, like Luffy does kind of make sense as like a Hispanic character, and like, you know, Zoro, you know, like Nami's like super white. I like, obviously no one was doubting Nami was never like a white woman. Like seeing like, for instance, like Usopp be like, you know, played by a Jamaican role, I'm like, yeah, like that sort of makes to me. Like I never really thought that he was like white. The character is like, you know, the character in the anime is very like, you know, pale and sallow, and in live action he's played by like a Jamaican guy, and I'm like, you know what, that seems like though he was always kind of coded to be like that.
Well, there's lots of anime characters who are like that, and then they get like a white person gets cast for the role, and you're like, what? Obviously this person was black coded. They have cornrows.
Yeah. Because you should look up the cartoon character of Usopp and be like, oh yeah, I see it. Or at least, you know, that ballpark idea.
Because I'm going to be honest, I was like, when I saw the fish people, I was like, are they supposed to be like that? I'm like, I'm like, and what's so funny is I feel like the fish people here, they're very much like, they're not DC Atlanteans. They're very much Marvel Atlanteans. Because Namor is very similar to Along. Like, he is, like, he, to the point where, like, he's called Imperious Rex, and he is, like, known to be, like, Namor fights with the land so much that when he comes up, people have to wonder if he's gonna fight them again, or if he's on their side. So he's very much, like, he's not to the degree of Along is in One Piece, but he has the same sentiment about land people, and humans to be particular. Even though Namor is half.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, he's basically a fish Namor. So I didn't need more of, I thought he was really fun as a person.
Oh my god. Whoa. So apparently, Morgan Davies is older than Iñaki Godoy. That's crazy to me.
And who is that? Who are we?